Dana White just made a bunch of announcements. We're going to talk about UFC 291 in this video and go through the lineup and just give you my initial thoughts on every single fight. So let's get into it. Sean Al-Shadi from MMA Fighting doing a great job kind of summarizing everything. So we'll go over the first announcement. So the first announcement is Dustin Poirier-Justin Gaethje. The rematch will be for the vacant BMF title on July 29th. I thought they got rid of the BMF title. That was Jorge Masvidal's title, which he won over Nate Diaz a couple of years ago. So that's going to be the headliner for UFC 291 in Salt Lake City. I like this fight. Just initial thoughts. I mean, this was a fight that I think made a lot of sense. Maybe I'm going to sound like a bit of a curmudgeon here, but don't you not think that like Arman Tsarukyan should be fighting one of these guys? I mean, Tsarukyan's fighting once again a fighter ranked below him. I think they should have split these two up and did Arman against one of them, whether it's Poirier or Gaethje. That's kind of my only thing that I don't really like about this fight, but obviously the matchup itself is going to be great. The first fight was awesome. It's going to be a great rematch. I don't think you need to do the BMF title personally. I think that's kind of just like, you know, it's a gimmick title, so to speak. I think you could just have these guys headline a pay-per-view and no one's going to complain. We had Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal headline a UFC card, and they, you know, these are two guys that didn't fight for a title either. So that's just one thing right off the bat wanted to mention. Let's talk about the other fights on this card here. Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. Great matchmaking here. I actually really like this fight because of the fact that Jan Blachowicz needs an opponent. A lot of people thought they were going to run back Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz. That was never going to happen. Dana White didn't like that fight. Hopefully this means that Ankalaev will get the winner of the Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill fight, which has been rumored. I think that makes the most sense here. But yeah, Blachowicz-Pereira will be interesting just with the fact that can Blachowicz take Pereira down? I mean, that's going to be the big thing. And a lot of people feel like Pereira is going to have the same success at 205 that he had at 185. And I'm not so sure about that. We saw Israel Adesanya move up a weight class. He had some trouble with Jan. So I think this is actually a perfect fight here. And glad to see Pereira getting a big matchup. Can Blachowicz get him to the ground? But on the, you know, on the same side, can Blachowicz take an Alex Pereira punch? That's going to be the big question in this fight. So that's a little interesting there. Okay, Paulo Costa and Ikram. I'm not going to go, listen, I've already been battling with a lot of you this week about some of the matchmaking. I'm going to leave this one and just say that this is not really a deserving fight for Ikram, but we'll leave it at that. Paulo Costa, good for him. I mean, what's going on with Khamzat Chimaev? Why is Chimaev not fighting Costa? That seemed like the obvious fight. So a little bit surprised to see this matchup. It kind of came out of nowhere. Paulo Costa where is he ranked? He's got to be ranked high up there in the middleweight division. Coming off that win over Luke Rockhold. So Costa's ranked number 5. So Ikram, who wasn't even ranked, is going to be fighting number 5. Okay, we'll save that for another video. Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, that's a fun fight. That's the type of fight Tony should be getting at this point, although he just had a DUI. Why are we booking him for a fight, you know, coming up here in the next little bit? I mean, that seems a little odd, but this is the type of fight I would like to see for Tony Ferguson, him fighting a fellow veteran. It's kind of like a throwback fight. Like that fight a lot. And Chiesa and Holland makes a ton of sense too. Again, two veterans. Chiesa hasn't fought in a while. Supposed to fight Li Jingliang. Kevin Holland, always exciting. Really like that matchup too. Early picks for this. I'm going to go Poirier in the rematch. I'm going to go Blachowicz over Pereira. Sorry, I need to see more from Pereira at 205 before we can sit here and say he's going to beat everyone. Ikram and Paulo Costa. I'm going to take Costa. I mean, you got to remember, Ikram just beat a guy in Phil Hawes who's been knocked out a handful of times. So I'm not quite there yet as far as Ikram being this contender. Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green. I'll go Bobby Green. I think Bobby has a lot more to show than Tony Ferguson has at this point. And I'll go Kevin Holland over Michael Chiesa just due to activity and the fact that, you know, I think Holland will be able to keep it standing, although you never know. Chiesa's got a pretty good ground game there as well. So again, Dana White pulling out all the stops, kind of taking a bit of thunder away from Francis Ngannou, I think. But hey, it's all good. All is good on MMA news and all that. So yeah, great card for Salt Lake City, July 29th. So we'll be doing 2 pay-per-views in July like they've done in the past. So we've got obviously the International Fight Week card, and then we have this card as well, which is going to be extremely stacked. Keep in mind, I will be doing early look previews on most of these fights. These are all really notable matchups here. So this is just my initial thoughts on the card. You know, I'm just reacting to this. So nothing set in stone. I will be previewing these fights, like I said. What do you think of the matchups? What do you think about the way they put this card together? Let me know. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Lynch on Sports. Thanks so much for watching.